Hello guys, how's it going? The video I'm bringing you today guys is tips on buying used cars in the UK. Now I'm solely going to be just concentrating on private buying. I will give you a few pointers when you come to buy from a trade person or a dealership, but I'm like I say, just solely going to be just concentrating on private buying. So the first things you just want to do guys before buying a car is you want to get a bit more history on the car. You just want to find out more stuff about the vehicle that you might be going to buy. So the first thing that I do guys is I check the MOT history of the vehicle. So if you can type in Google MOT check and it brings up this government UK website, you click on this, you type in the registration and the plate of the vehicle. If you can't get this, contact the person who's selling the car and ask for it. So the first thing, I'm just checking a random car here, so the first thing you want to check is make sure it has MOT obviously, so this has just been MOT'd, and if you click on the MOT history section, it gives you all the MOT history of the car. Now you want to be looking out for certain things when you're checking through its history. As you can see, this car was last MOT'd September 2019 before the previous one, so it did drive a little bit without MOT, but I think due to the current circumstances that's probably why there was a gap. And you want to just to make sure that the car isn't showing any sketchiness on the mileage. So like say if you go through like the past 5 year, if this was like 89, 88, 88, 87, 87, 86, then that would indicate that the car's been clocked back. So what this means is that people use a device to roll the mileage back to the like a little bit before the previous year, just so it looks like it hasn't done as many miles. So keep an eye out for this type of stuff because it is very common in the UK. So yeah, that would be my first little tip. Second tip guys is just check the general stuff of this, of like the advisories and etc. Make sure there's nothing that really stands out that could be a major problem, like all body corrosion, engine oil leaks, sort of coolant leaks. This would indicate that there's like been neglect on the engine, and it could cost quite a sum of money to fix. So just go through the previous years and just look. Things like suspension bushings and stuff and exhaust, they're all common problems that happen on a used car. It's just over time things corrode and just get old. So I wouldn't worry about stuff like that. Indicator discolorations, nothing. It's just like, again, just old age. And advisory for a screen blade smearing, that's the wipers on the front, literally £5 to fix this. It's literally nothing. But yeah guys, just like I said, have a good check of the car and make sure there's no red crosses on there. I've just brought this sort of thing up just to show you guys, if a car's got like this many problems on an MOT certificate, then I would be concerned. I personally know a few MOT guys and people who like take this much care into showing you every single advisory. It's a bit extreme. Like most like 50% of the time MOT testers are quite strict and they will pick up on the tiniest little things. So I would take some of these things with a pinch of salt. But again, if you know a decent guy who owns a garage, then you're not going to get messed about with. Another thing that you might want to check guys is a HPI check. If you're buying an expensive car, I would probably do one of these. It's only a few pound to check this type of stuff. It checks quite a lot of stuff like mileage history, tax, MOT. It checks if it's ever been a trade-in, if it's ever been stolen, if it's ever been in a crash, like stuff like that. So it is quite a good thing to check out. You also might want to check the valuation of the car. You can do this by just randomly going on certain websites. There's a free one through confused.com, which you do need to give an email for. And it gives you like a few a week that you can check the value of the car. Sometimes they don't give you a price for certain cars, but again, it's free to check, so you might as well to make sure you're not getting ripped off. And yeah, guys, that would be my first tip. Right, guys, so now you're physically on to looking at the car. So first thing, guys, you want to do before you even start the car, you want to have a good look around the car. Check the tyre treads on the car. Make sure there isn't severe wear on the tyres, because if there was, it could indicate some serious problems with the car. Might not be serious, but just keep an eye out for this. Also, you want to have a look around the body panels of the car and check for some rust. Now, as you can see in this picture, this side of this car does have quite a lot of rust on it, as you can see. Now, the front wing and the door is easily replaced, but the sill underneath isn't, and that would need cut out and replaced. So have a good look for rust on certain cars. This, I would probably walk away from this car if I was buying it. So have a good look around the car for rust on the outside. You also want to get underneath as well, guys, and check the chassis of the car. Make sure that there isn't any like big rust holes and stuff like that. Now, a point to take is when you're looking under a used car, there will be surface rust in most 99% of used cars because we live in the UK. Now, surface rust can be treated and it can be slowed down to making it worse. You just sort of wire brush it off and put some product on there to keep it from getting worse. But yeah, guys, have it just to check out for rust. Also, guys, you want to check the panels of the car as well. Now, all cars have little gaps between the panels, so door frames and wings and stuff like that. You want to check the major points of the car, like the front and the rear. You want to make sure that these panels have a tiny gap and it's consistent all the way. If these were squashed together, it would indicate the car's been in a crash, so be very, very wary. Next, guys, you want to grab the keys off the driver or the guy who owns the car and pop the bonnet. Don't start the car at this point, you just want to have a good look of the engine bay. So there's a lot of things to look at in the engine bay, and it can tell you quite a lot about the car's sort of general health. So you want to check the structure of the car, like the metal frame, to make sure there isn't any severe rust. You want to make sure the engine's not rusty. You also want to have a good look around, guys, to make sure there's no oil leaks, no severe oil leaks, no severe like coolant leaks. Make sure there's no leaks in general. You want to checking out all the pipes and stuff to make sure they're not sort of got slits in them or they're missing, stuff like that. It's a good point to have someone with you who knows what they're looking at. As you can see in this picture, guys, this engine, now this is probably the most common you'll see in a car, like slightly dirty, doesn't look very good, but this is not this bad. Just needs a little clean up. But this is probably the most common you would see a normal car. Next, guys, you want to check the oil. So all cars have an engine oil cap at the top. So you want to screw this off. Sometimes it's very difficult to screw off, so take someone with you who's got a bit of hand strength. You want to be checking for cream in this. This would indicate an internal problem with the engine, and I would walk away. If it was severe, I would definitely walk away, but if it's very, very slight, then maybe just check other parts of the car to make sure it isn't like a head gasket failure or something like that. You also want to check the sort of dipstick as well, make sure the oil's at its right level and make sure it's clean. Oil should always be like a light brown or like a black. Also check the brake fluid, guys, while you're there. Also check the coolant reservoir, guys. Now, most cars have coolant reservoirs that look similar to this. This should always be at the right level, and it also always should be a bright colour. You want to take the cap off and check inside, make sure there isn't any contamination, make sure there's no like spots of oil in there. Check the radiator cap, guys. Make sure that like, this is a nice bright colour. And like I say, guys, please don't check this if the car's hot. You will burn yourself. And I would always be wary of a car that's already pre-warmed before I look at it, because it could hide problems with the car. Next, guys, you want to check the serpentine belt. Make sure that this is in good condition, there isn't any rips or frays in the belt, because this powers a few things in the car and you don't really want this snapping while you're driving. Right guys, so now you're on to test driving the car. So the first thing you want to do is you want to start the car back up if it's not already started. And you want to make sure that you're listening out for certain things while you're driving the car and stuff like that. Sometimes cars squeak when you first start them up. It could be just an auxiliary belt squeaking and it just might need something replacing. It's not usually bad, but it is quite common. We'll also be checking out a lot of other things as well while you're driving, but we'll go through that. So the first thing you want to do guys when you first start, you want to check the dashboard. You want to make sure all the lights illuminate when you first turn the key off, and then they all go out when you start the car up. All lights should go out fairly quickly. If any are hanging around, then that could indicate a problem. While you're driving the car, if any of these lights pop up, there is a little meter you can use. Now this is just a really cheap one you can buy, an OBD meter. These check like most lights on your dashboard to see what they are. They give you like a little code on the machine, and then it gives you like a little booklet to tell you what the code is. Now this isn't just a really basic one, so it just tells you the general thing, what it could be. You would need to take it to a garage to like fully find out what the code is, but some of the time it's just a little common thing, or it could be a serious thing, so it's best to just be wary. Before you drive guys, turn your heater on full. So it's always a good thing to check the heat out of the car, make sure it's heating up and then it's cooling down. But you will have to take it for a good drive to get this up to heat, so I recommend turning it on hot straight away and then taking it for a drive to make sure it's blowing hot and cold air. Next guys, you want to be checking the health of the clutch in a certain thing in the gearbox. You can do this with the clutch pedal when you first sort of start the car up. So with the gears in neutral guys, you want to be pressing the clutch in and out, and you want to be listening for any sort of like little knocking noises or tapping noises or clicking. This could indicate like a clutch release bearing or an input shaft bearing problem. So just keep your ears out for little noises when you're pressing in and out the clutch. But next guys, yeah, you want to take it on a good drive. I would probably recommend more than sort of half an hour-ish is probably a good time. Get it up the motorway guys. Get it into higher gear and put your foot down a little bit. Make sure the clutch is not slipping when you're in higher gears, because it tends to slip more when you're in a higher gear. You also want to feel the smoothness of the gear changes as well while you're driving, so make sure the gears are going into gear nicely and they're not like grinding or crunching, because in some cars gearboxes are very expensive. You also want to make sure that they're not slipping out of gears while you're driving. So this is a main factor to check while you're driving guys. Next guys, you want to be just checking the general brakes of the car while you're driving. So things to like listen and feel out for are like sort of knocking noises or squeaking, or like really aggressive vibrating while you're braking the car. This could indicate a few different problems. So anything severe while you're braking guys is always a thing to check out. Also guys, keep checking your rear view mirror as well when you're putting your foot down in the car. Make sure there's no puffs of smoke coming out of the back of the exhaust. Like we've done at the beginning, you just want to make sure there's no smoke at all. Keep a listen out for any weird noises guys while you're driving. And yeah guys, that's probably about it. All these main factors are probably the main things you want to be checking out for in a car. So the things that I check out for in cars. And if everything seems alright and everything's not severe, then you can start going through the paperwork guys. So drive back to the guy's house, and so the things to check guys when you're going through the paperwork is I always check to see if it's ever had a timing belt replacement. Now some cars have chains, so it's not a worry if it has, but if it's a belt driven car, then definitely have a look through the paperwork to see if this has ever been done, because it'll probably be one of the first things that you'll need to change on the car. But yeah, other than that guys, just make sure it's had all appropriate work done. Check to see if it's had any suspension work, any clutch replacements, anything like that. Also make sure the guy has the V5 form, the ownership sheet. Just make sure that it's all legit, it's in his name and stuff. But yeah guys, if it ticks all the boxes, then it's probably time to talk shop. Usually you'll you'll be able to offer the guy less money than he wants, and you'll probably get it most of the time. So yeah, congratulations, you've just got yourself a new car. I hope this info's helped you guys. I know I've missed a few little things here and there, but these are the most common things to check. And if you have any questions, guys, drop us a comment in the comment section, and I'll try and help you. Cheers, guys.